Hi, garden friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Era, and this is Gardening on Purpose. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I garden in Georgia, Zone 8A, where I do gardening-related videos. It is the first week in December, and I'm giving you a tour to see what the yard looks like in late fall. So here I'm at the front of the house and I'm really happy with what things are looking like, right? You guys know the front of my house is a lot of evergreens. Some flower, some don't, and that's quite okay. On this side here, we have the Goshiki osmanthus. These guys here in evergreen, they do flower. They've never flowered for me and they take years to flower, but their flower is really not their highlight. It's that beautiful foliage, and I have a bunch of them here. They're really great for a hedge, really great, responds really great to pruning. And I just love the fact that the colors are like this, right? And then further up, you can see I have a lot of leaves in the front still. I actually had these guys blown out and then, a lot of the leaves kept falling. So I have to clean that up. And as you can see right here is where I have my container with my ornamental kale, which I absolutely adore. This guy actually blooms a yellow flower in the winter. On the actual foundation itself, though, is where I have stuff like the fragrant tea olive, have three different types of camellias. This beauty here is the touch of gold holly. This is a lyrope right here. And this azalea here came with the house. I've been trying to get it out. This thing has been in here since this house was built, and it is hard to get it out. I've cut it down many times. It comes right back up. This is a type of azalea that actually blooms once because it never bloomed since I cut it down because it needs to get to a certain height for it to bloom. And I really want to get it out. But otherwise, everything else is me expanding the bed. When I bought this house, this bed was only, I think maybe only 3 feet wide. And now it's 8 feet wide, which I absolutely adore. And I just love how that touch of gold holly gives life to this bed. I also have Nandina in here. This is the Obsession Nandina. I also have some other types of hollies here. This is another type of camellia right here. This is the snow flurry. And I have some other tea olives that I got from Growers Outlet right there as well. Now I inserted this guy here. I might move him ultimately. He's supposed to get 6 feet tall. This is a loropetalum. And I wanted to put it here because I wanted to give some contrasting color. You see right next to that is the Florida Sunshine Elysium, which is one of my favorite plants in this entire garden because in the winter, this guy goes really, really yellow and the stems go really, really red. So it's a really nice contrast. On top of that being a gold plant, it looks nice next to a purple plant. But this guy here, I just put him in early on in the year, and it's going to take a while for it to get to 6 feet tall. But I was hoping to put something at the edge of my foundation, right, to give some height. But this is what my foundation bed is looking like. Just needs to be remulched next year. And I'm just happy with what it's looking like right now. So as I back away from the house, guys, you can see I'm kind of lower down because my house is kind of up and this bed here is on a slope. What you're seeing here is cardboard. This is cardboard. We've been getting a lot of rain, so the cardboard is wet. And the reason why you're seeing all this cardboard is because I'm trying to kill the grass here. Now you can see those rocks there. Those are for helping with drainage because what happens, it was really eroding up there and I had to do something about it. So that's why you're seeing all that rock. So I decided to put a garden bed here. I had a little baby circle one right here and it just looked weird, So I said, let me expand it. So I put all this cardboard here to kill the grass. And I could have put a lot of stuff in here already, but I didn't want to because that tree, this tree right here, needs to be cut down. And I didn't want to plant anything here and then have the guys come take that tree out and then they're going to trample my stuff and then I'm going to be in a bad mood. But in any case, just to prevent any problems with anybody, I'm just going to wait it out. It doesn't look great, especially being in the front, but I anticipate by the end of the year that these trees will be gone. So what I did to soften this look a little bit is I put in some ornamental cabbage and kale and some pansies. These guys I got from Lowe's. And I bought them really small and they've just been growing so fast, right? So you see one right here, and then I intertwined pansies, different color pansies, and yellow, blue, white, pink, and then even more of the ornamental cabbage and kale. Here's my front shade bed. It's pretty much shade to part shade, guys. And what do I have in here is a lot of hostas. So anywhere you see a big space is probably a hosta was there, and you know that they have gone to sleep. I also have a lot of coral bells in here that are evergreen to semi-evergreen for me. So for example, this is a coral bell, also known as a heuchera. Those are evergreen to semi-evergreen for me. Lyropes are completely evergreen for me. These are autumn ferns. These are also evergreen for me. I also have carex here. I have this guy here, and I have this one here. I think his one is Everillo and Everest. And this is what it looks like right here. And then I also have a lot of the macrophylla hydrangeas. Like this is bloomstruck right here. You can barely see it because it's pretty much sticks, but you can see the buds are on it. So I have a bunch of bloomstrucks in here. And then I also have some evergreen boxwoods. You guys know I love wintergreen boxwoods because they are the Korean boxwood, which are the fastest growing ones. They do absolutely amazing in my yard. Moving up, this is all empty. I purposely took everything out of here in anticipation of this tree getting cut down. And you guys are probably tired of hearing about this tree, but I'm trying to get a deal, guys. I'm really trying to get a deal. The numbers that they're quoting to cut trees down here in Georgia is out of control. So this is just an empty space here because I'm just waiting for that tree to go. Once that tree goes, I'm going to go into plant mode and plant up all those clearance plants that I've bought all this time, guys. And yeah, I could have been doing it right now, but it makes no sense because if those guys come and they cut this tree down, they're going to need the space, and I don't want them to damage my stuff. So I just want to exercise some patience and just wait for the tree to go. Then I will start planting. All kinds of things are going to go here, guys, from crepe myrtles to roses and abelias. All kinds of stuff are going to go here. So just to give you a reference, I'm walking up closer to my gate, and this is what it looks like, that bed. Now, you guys remember those rocks that I bought from my neighbor? Remember, he was actually going to make a retaining wall. Then he changed his mind. He came over and he asked me, do I want to buy them from him? Didn't know what I was going to use it for. And I still don't know yet, but I kind of packed them up here to make a little wall to give a separation between this bed I just spoke about, right? This bed I just spoke about. And then here's the retaining wall. It's not complete. And it's not mortared or anything. And then right behind that right here was just grass. And this is also on a slope. And this is also something that I had to struggle with to try to figure out what to put here. But I landed on making this area mostly roses. It's not just going to be a rose garden by itself. But as you can see, I started planting a lot of roses in here, right? I have a lot of the wintergreen boxwood still here, but I'll play around with it. But for now, this is what this area is looking like. It definitely cuts down on the grass. I don't have to mow this or do anything like that, which is great. I also have some claras here. All these guys are the Bronze Beauty Clara, these green guys right here. And I actually started moving some of my sunshine ligustrums. Now, I had pretty much 8 sunshine ligustrums going across. This is between me and my neighbor. You can see the fence right there. I started moving some of them. So I already took 3 out from here and I put them here. Because in all honesty, guys, I really don't need anything between me and my neighbor on this part of the fence. You know, he keeps his yard great. We have a great relationship. I'm just wasting plants by putting them right there on the fence. I think they will be more, I think they'll do better if they're actually in a part of the garden. So I moved 3 so far, right? And then I actually finally planted my Yoshino cherry. Remember, guys, I bought this for $18. It was on clearance. Got this at Lowe's. This blooms really, really nicely in the spring. And I finally put it in the ground. It was in a container all this time, right? Also, what I did was I moved a lot a lot of creeping Jenny, guys. I had a whole bunch of creeping Jennies further over, and I said, let me move it all and put it here, let it catch its breath again. I'll always have creeping Jenny, guys. I have no business buying any more creeping Jennies. But this is pretty much the side yard that I'm going to make into a little rose garden, evergreen garden, and it will definitely give me some really nice color from all the roses and also something to look at in the winter. All right, guys, so I've made my way to the backyard. And as you can see, I have a whole bunch of leaves. I have leaves in the walkway, leaves in the bed, leaves hanging off from all kinds of stuff. Now, there's such a thing as too many leaves, especially in the garden bed. So, for example, I have a lot of leaves here. This is a shade area. And as you know, in the fall and the winter, we are literally getting rain all the time. So it's a little bit more wet. So what I have to do is I have to come and kind of clear out some of the leaves so that they don't stay on top of the plants that actually stay evergreen. So for example, this is a pulmonaria, also known as lungwort, right? So I have a bunch of them there. There's another one here. I kind of just use the rake and just rake it away from it, right? It still needs protection, but I don't want the leaves to be piled up on top of it, right? Then also the Brunera or Brunera, that one here, that's a semi-evergreen to me, depending on the weather. Hokora or corabels, those are evergreen for us, and they're here. So again, I just pull the leaves away from it so that the plant doesn't get stifled, and it can cause diseases and everything. Now, I have a lot of hostas in here, so that's why you're seeing a lot of stuff. You're just only seeing the leaves is because it's hostas underneath there. Now you recognize the Elysium right there. Those are the ones I got from Growers Outlet. And of course, you remember the Aurelia or Fatsia. Those three guys right there, Fatsias. 1, 2, 3. I have a lot of ivy. This ivy was always here ever since I bought this house. I could never get rid of ivy, but I'm not even going to fight it. It doesn't bother me. It's on the fence line anyway. And then my Daphne Adora, guys, I'm so happy to report it's still doing great. And I see a lot of new growth. I am so excited. I can't wait to show you if this guy actually blooms. A lot of my other macrophylla hydrangeas are pretty much done. They're all budded up for next year. As you know, macrophylla hydrangeas are the ones that they bud up in the fall and they bloom on old wood, which means that you've got to be careful of how you prune that back earlier on in the year. All these guys are hydrangeas. They don't look like much, but it's really sticks with buds on top of them. So just be careful in the garden. Now here is the Mahonias, guys. Now one of them was showing me that it was going to bloom, and then all of a sudden I don't see it anymore. But this is a shade plant that blooms in the winter. The yellow cluster is really, really nice. Here's another bed that, again, is just filled with leaves that just need to be cleaned out. And then, remember I was showing you all these Dutch irises started popping up? This is the Blue Magic. I have gotten these things over a couple of years, bought them. They're really nice. This is called Blue Magic, but they're really purple and yellow. And they do pop out this time of the year, but they won't bloom until the spring. But they're getting ready, guys. I have a lot of them. You can see them right there popping out through the leaves. And then just my regular shrubs, guys. I mean, for things that are evergreen, they're still looking great. For things that are semi-evergreen, you just need to cut back. And some things are completely gone to sleep. I need to clean up my area here with all this irises. This is a German iris, which I love. I have all types of German irises here. And then this is the rest of the beds, guys. Again, I just need to clean it out, and I just need to do some cutbacks, but so far, so good. Now, if I go a little further in, you're going to see, again, even more evergreens. Some things, even though we've gotten cold and we're consistently cold now, I think because it's not going to go down to 10 and 11 or anything, some plants are holding on. They're still doing great. I mean, look at my Sunshine Ligustrum. That's always looking great. And then I have the Olive Martini Iliagnus. That looks great. The junipers look great. Anything else that's supposed to go to sleep has gone to sleep. But because we have this really nice temperatures, guys, a lot of things are semi-evergreen, which means that they don't go completely to sleep, and there will still be something to look at in the winter. Here is the dwarf Burford holly with those red berries that the birds love. Butterfly bushes, they are semi-evergreen here. You know, I have a lot of butterfly bushes. There's a butterfly bush here, a butterfly bush there, a butterfly bush here, and they're not going to go completely to sleep. You're going to see them. And then once we get really, really cold in January, I give it one last cutback for it to flush back out in the spring. This is one of the highlights in the garden, guys. You guys know I've shown it off in a plant of the week. I've shown it off on shorts. This is the color guard yucca. Nice. Not only does it look really nice and yellow, in the winter, it actually turns a little bit burgundy red. Not the entire plant, but you can see parts of it are starting to do it right now, guys. This beauty here is an evergreen. It is very cold hardy. You'd think that something like that should be in the tropics or in the deserts or anything. This guy here does amazingly well in my garden. And then the front bed, you know, again, still semi-evergreen. And you guys know, ever since I've had this channel, I've always said I like the fact that my garden has something going on all year round. I don't want my garden to be an area where as soon as the cold hits and everything goes to sleep and there's nothing to look at. If you look, you can see that I have a lot of evergreens, a lot of semi-evergreens, and a lot of perennials that actually went to sleep. So here's that little sitting area that I made. I have to blow off a lot of the leaves to prevent it from really getting through the rocks and stuff. But, you know, it's late fall or it's about to be winter. And this is what it's kind of supposed to look like right now. I had a lot of annuals in containers here and they did absolutely amazing. And I think I'm just going to make this an annual area so I can really play with the colors. And then this is where we have all the clearance plants that still have not gone into the ground. They'll be quite okay, guys. A lot of these guys are hardy from zones 4 and 5, which means that they can overwinter in a container close to the house. And they're all here. A lot of them are actually going to go in that area I showed you earlier where there's an open space because the tree was in the middle of it. All of these are going to go there. So I'm kind of in a holding pattern with these guys. So let me know how it's going with your clearance plants. Have you been able to really plant up? I have so many. I know I'm going to have a lot of content coming up because all these things are going to require a lot of videos as I show you how I plant these trees, these perennials, these semi-evergreens, all these beautiful clearance plants that I got from Lowe's, Walmart, and Home Depot. All right, guys, so I know it was a long one, but I wanted to really encompass everything in the garden in one video, and I think I did with that. So let me know how your garden is doing in the first week in December. Let me know if your plants have gone to sleep yet. Do you have a lot of evergreens? Have you planted all your clearance plants? Have all your leaves falling yet? Everything in between. Let me know what you think, guys. Please like, please share, and please subscribe. Remember to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted on all my new videos. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.